The Pilgrimage to Cythera was created by Jean-Antoine Watteau in 1717 during the Rococo art period. This oil painting depicts the characters on their way to Cythera, which was a fantasy island where lovers were able to go to find their most ideal partner. This painting also depicts La Fête Galante, which visualartworks.com describes as being an amorous celebration or party enjoyed by the aristocracy of France during the time after the death of Louis XIV. This time was seen as a period of peace and dissipation and pleasure for all that were around in France. In the book Rococo by Victoria Charles and Klaus Karl, they talk about how Watteau often painted his subjects engaging in relaxation or tender flirtation, such as they are in this particular painting. Watteau's artworks also influenced the fashion of the time in France, more specifically feminine fashion. As we can see from this painting, the women are wearing bonnets, bodices, and other types of skirts and ornate fabrics. Types of dressings were popular up until 150 years after Watteau passed away. The texture and the colors of this piece were the first thing that drew me towards it, more specifically how the trees and the ground pave the way and make a frame for the mountains and the cherubs floating across the water towards the background of the scene. The color greens and browns are used mostly, and they often complement the pinks and the blues that each subject has in their clothing. The cherubs floating on the farthest left side of the painting are a soft apricot color, and that contrasts very well with the deep greens and the light blues that the landscape is painting. The main focal point of this piece is the woman in the mustard dress, and she seems to be gazing towards what appears to be her sister, talking very closely with the man on the right side of the painting. I wonder if she's thinking about what they might be talking about, but since Cythera often or is the place that lovers go to find their ideal match, she's probably looking jealously at her sister because her sister found her match, and yet she's still turning away from the attention of the man trying to talk to her. Still going with the theme of finding your ideal partner and the message of love, we see a young man and a young woman gazing into each other's eyes. In the painting, The Scale of Love by Jean-Antoine Watteau. TheArtStory.org also talks about the couple's body language. We see the woman twisting strongly towards the man as she holds open the book of music. The couple's poses and the way they respectively hold the guitar and the sheet music create a strong central diagonal that both unites them as the main subject, but yet still separates them by a sense of physical tension. TheNationalGallery.org also points out that the main focus for the composition of this painting lies in the relationship of the guitar player with his brightly colored theatrical costume and the girl that is seated at his feet. Another thing to note is that the couple are oblivious to anyone else, despite them not being alone. The sculpted bust that is turned slightly towards the right draws the eyes to secondary figures in the middle ground of the painting. In the far background, they all seem to have been engaged with their own pursuits and not pay any attention to the main couple. Similar to the first painting, the colors used consist mostly of dark greens and beiges. We also see that not only in the landscape, but in the clothing of everyone, despite the man who's dressed in pink. Music and dancing was not uncommon for the 1700s. In the journal article Un bal continuel, Watteau's paintings and aristocratic dancing in the 1710s by Sarah R. Cohen, she argues that the social implications of Watteau's figural interactions would have to be perceived by the audiences who know and understand the social sensibilities during that time, and also the way of the aristocratic dancing. Both of these paintings by Watteau show Rococo art period in its whole, mostly centered around love and lightheartedness. We can see that in the way the characters are depicted as well as the colors that are used. As Margaret Kessler said in the book Color Harmony in Your Paintings, whether it's still lifes, portraits, or landscapes, color relationships can help create the illusion of form and depth. And even today, many ideas and depictions of love are rooted in the themes and representations found in the Rococo art period.